The board is set. The native Fremen dream of creating a green Arrakis, while the Baron Harkonnen wants to paint it red. Smugglers who above all desire profit by turning the tables. The noble Atreides, bound by the whims of the Emperor, are blinded by their honor. The board is set. The Spice War begins.
Wow, so that was pretty intense, huh? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is MiAh the King, and today we're taking a look at a game based on a movie, based on a book, based on an idea, based on some guy. Got it? Good, because this is Dune Spice Wars. Super excited for this. And while I personally have only seen the original Dune movie once and never read the books, I do kind of like the idea of this. And me personally, I think that making this into a strategy game was a very good call. So let's hop right into this and make sure this game is worth it or not, alright? So to start us off, this game is in early access, but I only give that so much leeway before I stop caring if you're in early access or not. Being in early access is not an excuse to put out a crappy product. It's developed by Shiro Games and published by Funcom and Shiro Games. Now the Steam store page offers you a lot of information here. 4X style gameplay with political subterfuge, picking your own faction from the violence of House Harkonnen or the honorable House Atreides. Play as the Freemen or play as smugglers. You get to pick, each race having different strategies and ploys they can use to gain control of the spice, And as you all may already know, control the spice, control the universe. So at first, I was a little bit unsure about how the game was going to play out. I was totally went into this expecting it to be turn-based like Humankind, Civilization, or Total War. But instead, it ended up turning into more of a combination of those games than Age of Empires, or StarCraft. It doesn't have turns. No turn-based stuff here. It's all real-time. So no waiting around for stupid computers to finish their turns, which is really nice. Then you've got the gameplay itself. Well, you get to pick one of 4 factions. You can play as the Honorable House Atreides, you can play as the Devious House Harkonnen, you can play as the Noble Freemen, or you can play as the Greedy Smugglers. Now each faction has tons of different pros and cons, so you'll need to study them well and play all of them to figure out your strategy and how you enjoy playing. I personally chose House Atreides because I just love the whole honor aspect. Each organization gets their own troops, technologies, and whatnot to go along with their special perks. You also get to choose 2 advisors when you pick your faction, and these advisors offer their own little bonuses which can help you out in other various ways, once again trying to enhance your overall gameplay experience and to help you get the best possible playthrough. But the problems started as soon as I got into the game. I noticed 2 very large problems with what I was playing here. The first was that there was simply not much of a tutorial. What is there is barely comprehensible and doesn't really teach you nearly enough or clearly enough for you to be able to fully understand and learn the gameplay. But on the bright side, the gameplay was fairly easy to understand if you've played other 4X games before. So it wasn't hard to figure out what did what I needed, where to find it, how to play, or anything else. So if you love 4X games, then don't worry, you'll figure this one out pretty quick, with or without a tutorial. But the second problem I came across was the lack of story. There are currently no scenarios, campaign, or anything like that. Now I hope that will one day become a thing, because I honestly don't know. I'm not sure how long of a shelf life this game will have without any kind of storyline or anything like that. But on the bright side of that negative point, the gameplay was still pretty addictive and fun and engaging despite the lack of any kind of plot or storytelling elements. Also, the game currently has no multiplayer functionality, but it does look like it will one day be included, so at least there's that. Good to not release multiplayer when the game isn't good enough yet, so, good for them, good for you developers. I personally ran into 0 bugs or glitches or errors of any kind, and the game was playing smooth as silk. It ran very well, and with no issues of that kind to speak of, I was able to just enjoy the game and really sink my teeth into it. I mean, the frame rates never dropped, the game never crashed, and even the loading times were pretty quick. The gist of this game is simple. You start with one small section, one small little segment of land. Then you go out and take over other villages and earn a new segment of land. In this segment, you can build structures of different types to help develop your faction as you see fit, and in that segment, there's absolutely nothing, so it's just a choke point that you hold in case you run into the enemy houses or whatever. So things like military buildings, economic buildings, or scientific buildings. These are the different types of things that you can build in each little segment village that you capture. And you'll also have raiders come and go to attack your little towns, but you can hire militia to guard those towns and build military defenses if you want. Now, I love this. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool idea of how they were doing it, making it so that you take over the village and then the village has to defend itself now that they're loyal to you. I really actually like that aspect. And as you'd expect, it's all around the spice. You need the spice. You have taxes to pay to the imperial government, and it's through the spice. But not only that, with the spice, you can also sell it to Chom. I think that's how it's pronounced, Choam. Anyway, it ended up becoming my main source of income, selling it to Chom. You also have spies that you can use for various different things, spying on other factions, anti-spying stuff in your own faction, or outgoing missions involving other third parties, such as the planet itself or Chom, which of course offers you other new stuff that you can unlock or use or whatever. You have reputation and authority, and I don't remember what it was called, but it's basically like prestige. But you've also got manpower, income, other materials that are needed to support your mighty house. Forgive me for not remembering the specifics, but they're very different from anything else I've ever seen, so I'm sorry, but it's basically like medals and stuff. The combat, though, is a bit lackluster overall. It's just people swinging their weapons at each other, shooting at each other. It's not too in-depth, it's not too crazy or hectic. But then again, I only really got to the heavy gunner units before I came to write this script, and besides, I'm sure there's more for you to unlock later, and there's the different unit types for different factions, on which, will hopefully increase the fun in the combat overall in this game. Also, all of your troops will gain experience as they fight, so the longer you keep them alive, the stronger they'll become, which I like that aspect too. The sound effects and the music were all really nice. They were working really well. They fit the theme and they fit the atmosphere of the game, so that was good. And let's not forget probably the most memorable thing here, the sandworms. Is that what they're called? I hope that's what they're called. Anyway, I'm going to call them that. Regardless of what they're actually called, these massive sandworms that'll wreck your day in a hurry if you're not smart. Disregarding the constant threat on your spice harvesters, they'll also randomly pop up for no reason, or sometimes they'll pop up and burrow underneath your troops while they're fighting someone. And if you're dumb, like me, and you didn't move them or you weren't paying attention, then they're going to be eaten up by those sandworms. We're talking an instant death, no matter their health, they're just swallowed up, gone forever. I mean, it was pretty cool, but I was also a little peeved that it happened because I was low on troops at the time and I was learning the game, but it was still pretty cool. I was also hoping for a little bit more from the sandworms because I know how big of a thing they are here, but I don't know, maybe I just didn't get deep enough, maybe I just didn't see enough, who knows. But overall, I found myself really enjoying this game. You gotta remember, this is in early access. It's not done yet, which is great because so far what they have going for them is pretty damn good. I was so addicted that I lost track of time and almost forgot to come write this script. So if you're a fan of the Dune Mythos, then you should definitely check out this game. If you're not a fan of the Dune Mythos, but you enjoy 4X games, then again, you should definitely check out this game. And if you're not into 4X games or the Dune Mythos, I still think you should check out this game. It's really well done. It feels great, it's fun to play, it's addictive, and they're only asking for $30, but you'll get dozens, if not more than dozens of hours of gameplay and replayability. And not to mention, it's not even done yet. Just keep in mind that the game is a bit slower than other RTS games. It is going to take a little bit of sitting around and waiting for things to happen as you build up resources, build certain structures or units, or wait for something to be researched. But as far as I'm concerned, this is a pretty fun game, and I do recommend everyone at least give it a try. Don't feel bad if you don't know anything about the Dune Mythos or never seen the movies. As I said earlier, I've only seen the original movie once, and that was years ago, and I still enjoyed this little gem. So don't let that stop you. Don't let the price tag stop you because it's worth it. Make sure you at least give this game a chance. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to watch my video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. Until then, I bid you all farewell.